Ever since I was little, I always pestered my parents with questions about how and why everything works. I would ask the silliest questions that I wanted answered. As I got older, I would sit and ask my mom hundreds of questions about why we as humans are the way we are. After questioning parents and teachers as I got older, I soon realized that DNA is what makes us what we are. DNA is what codes for everything in our body, from a hair color to what diseases we may get when we get older. DNA is the art of our bodies. It's what makes us us. My name is Holland Tolliver, and the title of my presentation is DNA, the Art of Humans. The human body is one great piece of clockwork that works perfectly most of the time. There are still many unknowns as to why we can all function the way we do, and where do we go for these answers? We go to DNA. DNA is what codes for everything in our body, therefore the secret to how we survive is still buried in it. The sequences and differences in DNA is considered art because it is different in each person. It is what ultimately creates us and what makes you you. The differences we see in hair color, skin color, eye color, and our gender are all due to small differences in the DNA sequence. This complex sequence allows us to question the rules of genetic engineering and to change DNA sequences in people, and it makes us question who we are and what we could do if people were allowed to create designer babies. Most parts of DNA are still unknown and undiscovered. In the article, not surprisingly, DNA is even more complex than previously thought. Dr. Weil emphasizes that DNA was designed by the ultimate designer. We will probably never fully understand it. However, the more we do understand it, the more we can appreciate the amazing work that the designer has done. DNA is so complex that no one has figured out the art of it. At this point in time, all scientists in the world are admiring its complexities and trying to learn more about it. Over many years of research, scientists have learned that between everyone, 99.9% of our DNA sequence is the same, but the few differences between us are enough to make each person unique. There are 7.53 billion people in the world, and each of us has specific differences in the base pairs in DNA to make us who we are. DNA creates a unique story about each person, and it is still such a mystery to scientists in the world. In Ode on a Grecian Urn, poet John Keats emphasizes on how beauty can be found. In the poem Cases the Urn to reveal the suffering and pain in our lives. And then the poem is, thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou still foster child of silence and slow time, Sylvan historian, who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. What leaf-ringed legend haunts upon thy shape, or deities or mortals, or of both, in temp or dales of Arcady? What men or gods are these, what maidens loath? What mad pursuit, what struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels, what wild ecstasy? Hard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter, therefore ye soft pipes play on. Not to the sensual ear, but more endeared, pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss, through winning near the goals yet do not grieve. She cannot fade, thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Ah, happy, happy vows, she cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu. And happy melodious unwearied, forever piping songs forever new, more happy love, more happy love. For happy woman still to be enjoyed, forever panting, forever young. All the breathing human passions far above, that leaves a heart high, sorrowful, and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Who are these coming to sacrifice to what green altar, O mysterious priest? Lead thou thus heifer lowering at the skies. And all her silken flanks with the garlands dressed, or what little town by river or seashore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk this poorest morn. And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can e'er return. O Attic shape, fair attitude, with breed of marble med and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. When the old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in the midst of other woe, then art a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all, ye known on earth, and all ye need to know. So the speaker's tone is romantic, as Keats is obsessed with the urn and its overall beauty. Keats emphasizes on how beauty can be found through the imagery of the image on the urns to show the pain and suffering in our lives. Art is something that shows the true beauty of people and their creations. When looking at the urn, Keats describes one image as a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. Although art can portray the true beauty of something, it can also show the true suffering and pain that we may experience in our lives. The first line of our poem says, thou still unravished bride of quietness. Keats sees the urn as a virgin, untouched and undiscovered. DNA is the same. The pure beauty of this mostly unexplored molecule creates us and who we are. but it can also be what causes some of us to have diseases or disorders. This is why so many people are in favor of designer babies. They want the chance to be able to alter the genome to eliminate some of the diseases and disorders that are caused by the complexities of DNA. Keats highlights that beauty is truth is beauty. As the tone shifts to jealousy of the beauty of the urn, Keats acknowledges that beauty is the only measure that we can judge the urn on. Some of the beautiful images on the urn show that life can be amazing, but it also has its fair share of pain and suffering. The master creator creates DNA, and within it we can see the pure beauty, but also the undesirable traits it may cause. The hundreds of diseases and disorders that are directly caused by mutations in the DNA are complex and complicated. The beauty that lies in the complexity of DNA can bring happiness, but can also bring pain and suffering among us. Like Keats, Buchanan and West emphasize that DNA is mostly undiscovered, leaving many questions for the human race. According to DNA is the ruling metaphor of our age, we want to be in control, to be able to manipulate nature, to alleviate the problems that we face in a finite life in a finite world. In today's society, people want to know how and why everything works. Artists make art to challenge ideas. The creator of DNA wanted to challenge us, to make us question how we work. We as humans don't like the uncertainty that not knowing how our body works brings us. Being able to analyze DNA for its unknown parts doesn't put us in control. It leaves DNA control of the genome, which can affect how we look at designer babies. Art is something that is created to question who we are and what we are, and DNA does a great job of that. Nathaniel Hawthorne asserts that many people may want to make changes to themselves to make them immune to pain and suffering in Ravpunchi's daughter. Ravpunchi in this short story makes chemical changes to his daughter to make her immune to poison in his garden. Ravpunchi would examine every shrub which grew in his path. It seemed as if he were looking into their innermost nature, making observations in regard to their creative essence. The main character is trying to discover the secrets of each shrub in his garden, just like how scientists are analyzing DNA. Once Ravpunchi discovers how the poison in the plants work, he's able to genetically engineer his daughter to make her safe from this danger. Having the ability to chemically change his daughter is similar to how some parents want to genetically engineer their kids to save them from any potential diseases. The art of learning to understand the complexity of DNA and the poison shows that art is something that needs to be learned about and interpreted. In DNA Structure and Function, Mushkovelchi highlights that DNA has many different functions that are due to its complex structure. The organization of genetic material creates variation, shown by its function of DNA in a cell nucleus of bacterial nucleoid is that it can act as an energy store for facilitating the transit of DNA and RNA polymerases. DNA has so many different functions due to its pure complexity. DNA is what clearly dictates who we are, what we look like, and more. DNA can perform many different jobs or messages just like art. The ability for this molecule to do many different things means that we can utilize it in many ways to keep us alive. In UC Davis's spectacular representation of DNA called Fusing Art and Science, DNA Sculpture, we can see all the different bases that are needed to make up DNA. All the different colors that represent the 4 bases of DNA show that there are so many possibilities for the sequences. Seeing that there are endless possibilities gives humans an excuse for not understanding everything about DNA. Could you imagine a world where we didn't know anything about where we came from? That was us as a society until around the 1950s. As a little kid, everyone wanted to know everything about everything. We all wanted to know why the sun went away at night and why our parents ruled our lives. As we aged, the questions started to get more specific as we began to wonder why we are the way we are. Art is something that should be unique, that tells a story through its complexity and pure beauty. DNA is what ultimately makes us who we are through all these things. The creator of life is therefore the creator of DNA. They created a molecule so complex that with all the advanced technology we have still not been able to discover all its secrets. DNA is what creates the world we live in, so not knowing exactly how it works highlights all the work that needs to be done. In our lives, art is all around us. It creates stories, sends messages, and brings people together. Having the ability to have something that is a commonality between all living things allows us to unite as a society.